G'day guys and girls and welcome to the Amateur Racer Podcast, the podcast by amateur racers for amateur racers. My name is Curtis Smith and I'm here with Lance Keach. Lance, WSBK, another good weekend.
Yeah, it was great. Saw good close racing, probably a lot better than we had at Phillip Island.
Yeah, Ray seemed to be a lot closer. If everyone doesn't know, Bautista pretty much, he won every race and pretty comfortably in the end too.
Basically perfect weekend. Got pole as well, so that's another championship point.
From the free practice sessions, you could pretty much see that it was his race to lose. He was much faster than everyone else throughout the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It was great to see though Ray getting in there early in the race, trying to upset Bautista's rhythm, try and interrupt him a bit and slow him down, but didn't really help.
Yeah, he was actually close to him for a long time in the first race. Just towards the end of the race, you could see that he's like, look, I'm not going to win. I'm just going to take the second. He had a comfortable lead from third, so he just basically took the points, knowing that he wasn't going to win.
Yeah, he was pushing hard to try and get in front of Bautista, and then Bautista would just walk past him. So,
So I suppose the big thing we're going to talk about is the pass. Bit of collision there.
Yeah, a little bit. I think there was plenty of room on the track. They just sort of came together. Wasn't much of it. Bautista obviously took the bigger hit.
Yeah, he was not happy at all. He even went as far to say that it was a motocross style pass and he wanted to collide with Bautista. Ray, that is.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Probably doesn't ever want to put that much risk into it, but...
Yeah, I think that's a lot of bullshit. Especially, I watched it a few times, and so throughout the whole race, Bautista took a tight line in that corner, and there's a certain time he definitely ran deep, so Ray just picked his pockets and went up the inside, and then Bautista cut into him and they collided.
Yeah, and Ray can't see him coming from the outside,
Yeah, he would have been looking
Yeah.
at the apex and where he wants to go. So it was just a normal racing instance for me. I think it's a bit of an overreaction from everyone, and Bautista. Ray didn't seem to be too worried, and he was, quite polite about it after the race as well.
Yeah, it's just a bit of excitement. We saw some bigger hits from Melandri and Haslam throughout the races 1 and 2.
Oh, they were banging bars big time down the straight, especially with Haslam I saw. They were going for it. So Sykes looked good early in the race, but he really fell away. He was pretty much anything that looks like a straight, he gets swamped. He's got about a 20 kilometre an hour disadvantage over the Ducati, so it's massive.
Yeah, even about nearly 10 from the Kawasaki, so...
And the Kawasaki I saw is down on speed as well, not just from the Ducati, but from the Yamahas.
Yeah, the Yamahas were all really strong, we had the trio. We had Sam Lowe's, Vandermark, and Melandri, they were in there and they were fighting.
That's where the best racing of the weekend really was, between those guys in the middle. It was a really good fight.
And Davies.
Yeah, Davies. He was much stronger this weekend. That was good to see. It was a shame to see him crash and then had a mechanical, didn't he, in the last race? So he had to retire.
His bike was blowing a bit of smoke and then he just went off the track and I think he just died.
So one of the interesting things, that basically Bautista walked away with it, but it was good to see the contrasting riding styles and obviously the different bikes and how they ride between him and Ray. So I was watching it. Ray is pretty much going super deep and taking more of a flowing style of turns all the time, whereas Bautista would come in sideways, use the engine braking and square up every turn and then stand it up fast as he could. Just to use they've obviously got a massive power advantage, so he's just trying to use that every time.
Yeah, Navarro looked like he was riding a Moto 2 bike on some of those entries. The bike was not settled and he's just tipped it over.
Yeah.
Gone in, he was really pushing in the braking and to get through the corner quickly.
He was riding really well. One thing I noticed that Ray and the Kawasaki's have a big advantage going into corners. Ray would outbrake Bautista comfortably every time, but then as soon as it comes to a straight, it was like Moto 2 versus MotoGP. He would just literally blast past him. It'd be frustrating for Ray.
Oh, 100%, especially after because he's been doing that to everyone for years, so...
Yes, he can't complain too much, can he? So one thing I did notice was Bautista, towards the end of the race, he was just still smacking out those lap times.
Yeah, he was super consistent. He never stopped pushing no matter how big his lead was. He just, like I said after Phillip Island, I think he's just so much more comfortable on the worn tyre. He doesn't really slow down at all.
It could be the case, and there didn't seem to be any tyre wear issues this weekend at all. It wasn't mentioned by any of the racers.
No, not as bad as Phillip Island. Seeing the photo of Bautista's bike in Parc Fermé, the tyre was still destroyed. It's still torn out in the guts. And
could that be as well because he was pushing for the whole laps, whereas Ray was the last 5? He noticeably took his, hand off the gas a bit there.
Yeah, potentially. I'd say Bautista did probably stop pushing as much. He probably pushed harder for the first, 3 or 4 laps than he did for the rest of the race.
Mm.
But it was just more consistent after that. Like when he did button off, it was less of a dramatic drop.
Yeah. But it was good to see them actually having a battle this time instead of Bautista just streaking away with it. Alright, so other things to talk about in the weekend. It's a pretty shit weekend from Honda, really.
Oh, yeah, Leon had a big crash in the Super Bowl race and was out. But generally they weren't up there in qualifying or any of the races.
No, they were nowhere. And Kianari pretty much, he had to retire in the Super Bowl race due to mechanical error. So they really need to pull the finger out. I don't know whether they're putting all their money into MotoGP or what the go is, but
this is
nowhere.
This is supposed to be a factory HRC team again in World Superbikes for the first time in a while. So you'd think they'd be trying hard. It isn't 10K Honda who used to look after the Honda World Superbike team, so maybe they've still got a lot of learning to do. But I guess BMW is in the same position at the moment. Hopefully they come strong later in the season.
Yeah, well, BMW's got a new bike, so that's kind of a thing going for them, or against them. I find it strange. Why do they have such a power disadvantage, especially in top speed?
The BMW.
It's road going wise. That is the most powerful bike you can buy.
Yeah, except for the V4R.
Yeah, except the new V4R.
It's
been a horsepower monster for years, but the super bikes just don't have the grunt.
It must be to get the longevity out of them.
Maybe their street bike is already pretty well on the limit.
Yeah, to make a race weekend, or to make the engine allocation for the season.
And one thing I do know about the ZX10s is they come out with slightly less horsepower, but as soon as you unlock them and take out the fuel restrictions and when you take out the emissions, they make huge power. That's out of a stock internal, so...
Yeah, we know a bloke that's got over, I think he's got 204 horsepower out of his road bike.
Yeah, that's rear wheel horsepower as well.
I think it's crank. I think it's calculated crank.
Ah, there you go. I apologise. But it's still, that's fucking huge power.
Still nearly double my bike.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Now, what would mine put out?
Maybe 80.
Maybe 80. Maybe 80. Oh. But yeah, they need to find power and find it fast because they're just getting blown away on circuits like this where there's a couple of big straights. And he was riding quite well throughout the whole lap, but then he just gets walked over on the straights. So probably, I reckon the best ride of the weekend, bar the first two, was Lowe's. He looked really strong, and even in the third race, he was actually pushing Ray.
Yeah, all 3 Yamahas were great. Lowe's, Vandermark, and Belandry. But yeah, Lowe's was easily the fastest out of the 3.
He just looked really comfortable as well. Like, he wasn't having any issues. It looks like he could push as hard as he wanted.
Yeah, he had some good battles too, which was always entertaining.
Yeah, it was good to watch. Another thing that's good to watch was Melandri's instability.
Oh, I don't know how he rides that thing past half race distance. It was like a bucking bronco.
And it's it's at the end of the straight when he's about to set up for corner entry as well.
Yeah, and you could see it was affecting him. He was rolling off, whereas Phillip Island last year, it was happening beginning of the straight, and you just hold into it. But this time it was like, it would get worse as the tyre wore, and then it was just... You could see he was rolling off, everyone else would just sail past him.
Yeah, and it's not like just a little bit. It looks like it's enough to make you shit yourself.
Yeah, I was worried watching him.
Yeah, it looks fucking wild.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll watch it though. It's good to watch.
Yeah, hopefully he sorts it out. He worked it out on the Ducati last year, but I don't know what caused it. It must be because he's so small.
That's the only thing I'm thinking of. Because the Ducati, they were saying he was doing it because he had the taller tyre and the Ducati's so high at the rear. Whereas you can't say the Yamaha is really high at the rear. So it's got to be something to do with his riding style or size or a combination of everything,
It was just getting some crazy tyre wear that meant the tyre was all out of shape.
Yeah. He just rides like a demon and just rides fuck down the straight. I don't know. Eugene Laverty, bit of a wild weekend from him.
Oh, that brake failure in race 1, like, was it into turn 12?
It was huge.
Super fast. I saw him. I actually just turned it on to start watching just after it happened. I saw him, like, his leathers were destroyed. He was in the pits, not looking happy. But,
No.
Yeah.
And he was so lucky not to get really injured from that.
Yeah, they're definitely lucky that track has so much runoff space.
Yeah. And you mentioned just watching before that it's a wide track. Like, it looks like a car track, really.
Yeah, there's so many different lines the riders can take through the corners. Hence why, like, Ray and Bautista can have such different styles. And the 600s were the same. The guys on the same bike had wildly different racing lines.
So the Super Bowl race for me, it didn't do a lot this weekend. I thought it was a bit dull compared to last. You know, it was new and exciting at Phillip Island, but this round, you know, I know I got red flagged and it was a bit shorter, but it just seemed a bit dull.
Yeah, I expected after the beginning of race 1, where Ray was really in there, that it'd be the same, but even more aggressive. But Bautista just got out in front, and it was not much excitement. And then I think it got cut short at 6 laps, and that meant that people that were kind of saving themselves at a last sort of battle, didn't get the opportunity to do it. Didn't get to see the incident on a replay, but yeah, Leon Camilla was out for the rest of the weekend injured.
From what I only saw like the end of it. You know, when they have the camera on another rider or watching another group, and then in the background you see him crashing. So
yeah, the medics were out there straight away, so it must have been a pretty big one. 2 guys coming together.
Explains why he didn't do much in race 3, hey?
He wasn't even in race 3.
Wasn't even in race 3.
He was in the pits with his crutches watching.
Yeah.
And then Laverty couldn't race because his bike was still broken from race 1.
Yeah, which is a big difference. We'll talk about it later, but why Bautista is faster than Ducatis, but not even having a bike to go out on, he's obviously on a bit of an inferior team. And he just completely destroyed his bike.
Yeah, and it's like, the bike's so new that they probably don't have the bikes or the parts available for the teams. And then, satellite team's not going to get preference over the factory team.
Yeah. So, someone who's been pretty disappointing for me is Toprak.
Yeah, Toprak Razgadioglu.
Is that how you say it? I didn't even try.
It.
I didn't even try. He's just a Turkish guy. That's what I'm going with.
The red Kawasaki.
Yeah. He was been really strong the last couple of years, where they even said, look, we might even give him a factory ride. But this year, I know it's only 2 rounds in, but he needs to pull his finger out. He hasn't looked strong. Yeah,
Phillip Island, he was good at the beginning of the races. He was really aggressive and getting in there, but this round he was kind of just at the back. Maybe the track doesn't suit him.
Yeah, we'll see how he goes. You know, I've said it in the last couple of weeks. Europe is where the championship starts, really.
Yeah.
In MotoGP and in World Superbikes. Especially in World Superbikes, though, because they have like 3 different tracks that aren't... Batista's not going to be familiar with them. And they're going to suit the style of the Kawasaki. So, we'll see how Toprak goes over there. Hopefully he goes better, because he's aggressive and good to watch when he's going well.
Yeah, he doesn't give... Like, he's not there for tyre conservation, or he just wants to push. And
no, 0 fucks given.
Yeah.
He's just smashing it.
I guess you can tell the toll doing the 3 races takes. So the guys have the additional race this year. But by the time we got to race 3, there was only 13 people finished due to either crashing in previous races or mechanical failures in the 3rd race.
And for me, it was really noticeable because it just seemed like there wasn't much to watch during the race. I know you usually concentrate on the front, the front runners, but it seemed like the track was empty.
Yeah, because the track's so big, it's so wide. They were spread out. Even on the grid, it looked tiny.
So I think they need to get some more riders in there. Really, it's maybe the funding isn't there or whatnot, or manufacturers as well, because Aprilia pulled out. So there's that missing. I need to get probably a couple more races in there for next year, or halfway through the year. Probably not going to happen halfway through the year, is it?
No, it won't happen halfway through the year. Maybe we need Suzuki factory team next year. Bring the GSXRs in.
Really? We'll see. Well, they're due for a new bike. Well, an update on the last bike.
Yep.
And the last bike is really strong. It's definitely strong in BSB and ASBK.
And it won the Spanish championship, I think, last year.
Yeah, so I'm actually surprised they're not up there.
Just focusing on...
Yeah, well, you can tell maybe not having it in there has contributed to their MotoGP team being really strong now.
Yeah, I guess they've also lost MV Augusta in Superbikes. Because
Well, I got no money.
who's the bloke with the sunglasses?
The bloke with the sunglasses.
Jordi Torres.
Jordi Torres, yeah.
He's on a Kawasaki this year.
Yeah, and the beanie.
Yeah, the beanie.
So, it's Thailand. It's like 38 degrees.
Johnny Ray's in like an ice vest.
He's wearing this weird ice vest. He looked fucked up. Yeah. And then at the back of the grid, Torres is just wearing full leathers and a beanie with all these weird baubles on it, surrounded by his grid girls. Hilarious. But what the fuck was he doing?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that hot in Turkey.
No, is it 50 degrees every day? So, this is like my winter.
Yeah, nice autumn weather.
Yeah, beautiful. So, speaking about Bahrain, that's how you pronounce it. I think I was wrong last week. You were saying Bahrain, and I was like, no.
You're saying Bahrain.
I was like, it's Bahrain. That's a completely fucking different circuit. That's the F1 track. So, my bad. So, it's looking very likely that they're not going to race there next year. So, no agreement has been made for 2020. It looks like the circuit wants to continue there, but WSBK is pretty reluctant at this stage.
Yeah, they seem to really favour the European circuit. They want to stay over there. They'll still be there for Phillip Island, so I guess it's a good stopover. But maybe they'll pick up Indonesia.
Well, Indonesia won't be ready till 2021 though.
Okay.
So I would be very surprised if there's not some pushback from the manufacturers, because Thailand is a huge boon for all the manufacturers. They sell a shitload of bikes there.
They sell a lot of smaller bikes, don't they? But I guess it still filters down the sales.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone buys your little Hondas and all these little bikes from there, which it spreads the brand. So I'd be surprised if the manufacturers don't say, hey, get a contract done. We want to race there just for sales perspective. It'd be a shame. They get a pretty good turnout there at Thailand. And it's pretty close for us Aussies, just if you want to go.
Yeah.
Cheap.
They did looked like they had a lot of the grandstands that were full for the GP closed off, and they only had a couple open.
Yeah.
The ones that had open were full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like 50,000 people there for the weekend.
Yeah, so less than half. MotoGP, they had a shitload there. They were absolutely packed.
Yep.
So it could be they're like, hey, we're not making a lot of money, so let's just skip it.
Yeah.
MotoGP's taking too much a percentage of the viewers.
Maybe they need to pick up Sepang.
Yeah, Sepang would be good. It's a fucking good track to watch from, that's for sure. When I went there, it was wicked. Oh, look, we'll see. We'll see where they go from there. They're onto the European circuit. I'm keen for the European circuit. It's going to be awesome. We'll see if the Ducati is as strong, and Bautista is as strong as everyone's saying.
Yeah, and it's also, those tracks are great for the racing, spectating. Like, there's a lot of passing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of... The tracks are a lot narrower than the international tracks. Makes the racing a lot tighter. Makes the riders really have to work for those passes.
Yeah, they're proper bike tracks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, they're made for bike racing, not made for F1 and bikes. They are purely for bikes. So, one thing I think will definitely come into play is, I noticed during this race, Bautista was miles faster in that first section with those two big straights. And then Ray was the same speed in the second two sectors where there were no straights. Once we get to these tighter sectors, it's got to tighten up the racing.
Yeah, close up that difference in speed. And
because it's not even just a straight. It's when there's a small straight between turns, you can see that out of corners, whether it's probably a combination. Bautista knows how to stand it up quicker and use the fat of the tyre and utilise the power of Ducati. But he just streaks ahead. Like, it is noticeable.
Yeah, I guess the having the extra RPM means they can put their gearing that much shorter as well. And still maintain their top speeds.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the horsepower with the concessions. It's helps them with setup, flexibility, and it's got to help everywhere.
Making power, big power for longer.
Yep.
As well.
Okay, we got a new segment for this week. It's a little break in the motorbike proceedings. Beer of the week. So one of our other loves is a bit of craft beer.
Love it.
Curtis is probably more of a fiend than me. But yeah, this week we'll fill you guys in on sort of what we're going to enjoy while we're recording. And give you a bit of a description of what we think. So this week we started with a Ballistic Beer Co. They're based in Salisbury in Brisbane, and we got their Oaked XPA. So what do you reckon?
That's a nice beer. You can definitely taste the oak flavour, which I didn't expect, to be honest. It's an XPA. XPAs to me are usually really easy to drink, just lightly fruity. Whereas I like the oaked kind of barrel taste it's got going on. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I've very similar thoughts. XPA, I usually like them pretty fruity, sort of somewhere not quite a New England IPA, but more than a pale ale. But this is just sort of totally different beast, but it's really good.
I love IPAs. It's pretty much for me IPA or go home, or stronger stouts, IPAs. But this is pretty sessionable too. 5.8% though. You get into trouble.
Yeah.
1.7 drinks in a can. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
I'd definitely check them out if you haven't. Ballistic, nice beer. So I suppose, would you have this after a track day or a race day? That's the important question.
Yeah, definitely. After a hard day's racing, it'd be good to relax at the campsite at Morgan Park.
Nothing better than a beer after a day at a track, is there?
No.
You pretty much, there's no point going unless you have a beer afterwards.
Yeah, it's great. It's either when you're at home unpacking or you're at campsite, good to go.
It's just a culture.
Yeah.
It's an amateur racing culture. Don't want to promote drinking culture, even though we're talking about a beer. But it's fucking good. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, good, refreshing.
Yeah.
Reset you.
Yeah. But no, this is a pretty good beer. I liked it. So speaking of Rev Limits, we're going to talk about the concessions.
Yeah, we'll just talk about the rules in general, because you see a lot of things up on Facebook, like, do you restrict the Kawasaki, or when are you going to limit the Ducati, or...
Yes, that is pretty much all I'm reading. The WSBK comment section at the moment is cancer.
Yeah, it's not helpful at all. It doesn't help that the big headline is the Ducati revs to 16,500.
Yeah.
It goes sky high, but
it's ridiculous.
They've all been. I guess it's hard because the Ducati was built with these rules in mind. They're there to make the most out of the rules possible. So of course they're gonna have an advantage. And
with what the valves called again?
They're the mechanical valves that are pushed shut. So they don't get valve flow.
Desmo valves. Let's go with that. They are able to run really high cam profiles and get these high revs, which they were getting pretty insane revs from their twin, and it's flowed onto their 4-cylinder now, which naturally 4 cylinders rev higher, being 4 smaller cylinders as well. Yeah, and then it's hard as well because the Kawasaki has, I think it's got more RPM than it did last year, or the same. 500 more. The stock bike has 500 more
because they released the RR, the special edition.
Yeah.
So it's not limited at all. Like it's just that bike where it makes its power to fit within the rules. And we checked in the rules. So the rules are made up of 2 parts. It's peak RPM of the road bike plus 3%, or RPM max power is made plus 1100.
Yeah.
And the Kawasaki, the BMW, and the Ducati are all the rev limits set by peak power plus 1100.
Yes.
So they're all sort of using the same blend of the rules at the moment.
So you can't really blame the riders because Ducati have just done some really good engineering, really.
Yeah, well, they've come and they've gone, how much money are we going to spend to win a Superbike title again?
Yes.
Which is obvious with the V4R.
And they are doing well in MotoGP now, so they've just used that engine and put it in a road bike pretty much, and that engine is a monster.
Yeah, if anyone ever is lucky enough to get one of these bikes as a road bike, it'll be an experience to ride it for sure.
Oh, it's a ridiculous amount of power, so good on them.
Yeah.
So let's actually talk about the rules and concessions. So people are saying, oh, but Kawasaki were limited last year and the year before. So this is where it gets interesting. The year before, Kawasaki, well, namely Jonathan Rea, wasn't limited at all throughout the year. They didn't lower it when he started winning. What they did is, since he won 3 years in a row, they lowered it before the season even started. And he didn't have a great start to the year either last year, looking at his results.
Yeah, I guess it's similar to this year. They're not his tracks that suit his riding style.
like Kawasaki's always been strong at Thailand. But yeah, like it was the second half of the year where he really dominated. So it'd be interesting to see something like that happen this year. In regards to the concessions, so this is a bit of a weird one, and I'll have to read out pretty much what they have. There has to be a 9-point difference for concessions for it to be taken into consideration.
Between manufacturers?
Yes, between manufacturers. There's only a 2-point difference at the moment because Ray has been getting seconds and
Haslam's doing better than the rest of the Ducatis.
Yeah, Haslam's got a point as well. So it's all Bautista. He has all 9 points. And then it's Kawasaki on 7, and I think Yamaha on 4, because Yamaha have been really strong this year.
4 or 6. It was pretty close.
It's pretty close. They've been really good this year. But concessions are not rev limits. Concessions are basically rewards or gimmies for other teams, so they can have introduce new forks to the bike or new parts and things like that.
Basically the R&D time.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. So stuff they weren't allowed to do, they can now do to bring them closer. But that'll only be done if this points difference increases, which it probably won't for a long time.
No, if it's only 2 rounds, the point around at the moment, basically. So
yeah, it's going to be over halfway through the championship.
Yep. I guess the rev limits are done separately to that. The Dorna sort of has a say they can go at any point. They say they reviewed after 3 races, 3 rounds.
So I think the minimum's 3.
There's an algorithm to work it out, but at the end of the day, they can just go, "Oh, Ducati, you've lost 1,000." If they feel they want to do that to tighten the racing up.
Yep, exactly. So I was reading into it, and an external company does the algorithms where they take into account basically how long they won by, so the distance between first and second and whatnot, top speeds, and a million other things that are taken into consideration. They do the algorithms and then provide the results to Dorna. Then it's up to Dorna if they want to make a decision from there. So we may not even see them change. It's up to Dorna.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but at the same time, it is rough because Ducati's done they've blatantly spent the money to win the race. But
yeah, I think.
But it's not all the bike though, because
no, Bautista's riding awesome. There's no doubts about that.
Yeah, Chaz and Lavity, and there's a fourth Ducati as well. Ruben Rinaldi.
Yeah, Rinaldi.
They're still a fair way back. They're still coming to grips with it. So it's not like you have 4 Ducatis in the top 4 of every race.
I think they're definitely going to have to reduce the rev limit. They didn't do it last year, but as I said before, they did it before the season even started as like a preemptive strike against Kawasaki to make it look more competitive. But the years before that, they were doing it. They've got to do it, but they're still going to be revving it. Let's say they knock off 250. They're going to be revving it like 16,250.
Yeah, they're still going to be 2,000 or 3,000 more than any other bike.
Which is not going to make a big difference. So they could just maybe change the ECU around and move their peak power just down a little bit. They'll lose, a couple of horsepower.
Yeah.
They've still got that huge range where they're going to be making big power. So it'll be interesting. They obviously have a huge power advantage at the moment. It's significant.
I think it's power advantage and the weight of the bike. The road bike is insanely light for how much power it makes.
So we better talk about why Bautista is so much better than the other Ducati riders.
Yeah, so I think it's closer to what he's been riding previously.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much the same as the bike he rode last year.
Yeah,
it's 17.
It's the older MotoGP bike, really.
It's probably a big stepping change for Chaz from the 1299 and Lavity from the RSV4. And then, Chaz is injured still. He's still recovering. And
he did look noticeably stronger this weekend, though.
Yeah, he definitely got a big step in the right direction, especially by the race Sunday afternoon, race 2. He was pushing along with Yamahas, and he did one move that passed 3 Yamahas at once.
Yeah, he was looking good. Race 3, he looked good as well, except for his mechanical.
Yeah, that's the race I was talking about, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He looked good. Lavity, he just keeps crashing.
Yeah, looks like he's still coming to grips with the bike in general. The mechanical failure with your brakes isn't probably anything he did, but
yeah, he can't do much about that. But also, this weekend from him was just a bit of a write-off because he had that big crash. Then he couldn't even race one of the races.
The Super Pole race.
And he wouldn't have done the warm-up as well to help with setup.
Yep.
So then...
And he didn't start the race too either, like the Sunday afternoon race.
Yeah.
His bike was out the front of the pits and then he never jumped on it.
So it was just... He might as well not been there that weekend.
Yeah.
Would have saved the team a bit of money.
But Ruben Rinaldi was still a fair way down. He was down sort of with top rack.
But he's also just... One, he's not up to the stand of the other guys yet. And he's on the...
He's on the Barney Racing
team.
independent, yeah.
So he's not going to have the same level of support as the Bautista and Davies is having.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
But also, Bautista, he's a fucking good rider. He always has been.
Yeah, he proved it last year on at Phillip Island when he got Lorenzo's bike and went from... I don't think he was even in the top 10 any time during a race the rest of the season, and then was fighting for podiums.
He looked really good. He got fourth, didn't he?
Yeah, but he led the race for a while.
He was leading it and looking really strong. And one thing, like, he rode really well. He always rides well. He used to be a bit of a crasher back in the day.
That's all. Everyone sort of making their way through GP.
Yeah. He's trying, you want to impress, push hard. But he was always really strong at the back end of the races last year, where he kind of stormed home from like 12th to like a 7th spot, 6th, 7th. So he was doing really well. He's a good rider. Hasn't had that big ride.
Yep.
And one thing I noticed, his riding style is slightly different. So he stands it up a lot quicker and gets it in the meter tyre and uses the power, which is also more of a MotoGP rider style where their bikes...
And a Ducati GP rider style.
Exactly. It's known to be just a prick of a bike to ride, where it doesn't turn. So you need to ride completely differently. Like, look at Lorenzo. He's one of the best riders ever, and he struggled to begin with on it.
Yeah, and then this bike is based on the 2016 bike, which is what Lorenzo sort of started his season on. Started his Ducati contract on, which he said didn't suit his style.
Yeah, it was a dog.
I'm sure they've taken a lot of their learnings by the time they got to the GP18 in terms of chassis geometry into the V4R.
Yeah, and I think...
It's just the motor that's based on the older bike.
Yeah. And he would have, like Lorenzo, contributed massively to the handling of that bike as well. So he would have developed it too. So they're not at standard, different independent teams as well. So they're not going to have the support from the engineers, the factory support. And Bautista's just a fucking good rider.
Yeah, I think I've said it a few times, but I reckon he can just ride the tyre that's dying.
His lap times were just consistent towards the end of the race too. One thing I noticed is Chaz Davies as well. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's tall, and he's like he looks lanky on the bike around corners.
Yeah, he's like, there is a perfect size for a motorbike racer. It's like that. Marquez, Bautista, Dovi, they're all similar build, similar size.
They're still small people though. Like,
they're small people.
Like Pedrosa and Melandri are tiny, tiny people.
Yeah, they're too small.
Yeah.
Whereas Davies, he's a normal white dude, like, not a white dude, but like a British Australian guy.
Yeah.
So he looks like a big mong when he looks like Lance on his little CPR 600, like, big normal dude. So it probably contributes as well to how the bike rides.
Yeah, he's got to find like his setup for.
Exactly. Yep. It'd be wildly different, being just taller and bigger. So that's another thing to look out for. Well, I suppose we'll talk about some MotoGP. Are you the ultimate amateur racer? Do you want to chop your mates up the inside at practice with an unnecessarily aggressive block pass while laughing in your helmet? Of course you do. And that's why you need On the Back Wheel knee sliders. On the Back Wheel knee sliders are so smooth they take you straight into her DMs. They wear slower than that rich guy rides his brand new leader bike. On the Back Wheel knee sliders, buy them off eBay or Facebook.
Yeah, so no racing this weekend, but I guess.
Oh, how annoying was that?
I know. I thought it was coming up. I was so stoked for the Argentina round, but it's the weekend after.
Why are they doing that to us?
Yeah.
3 weeks is too long.
I want my weekly, 1 week Superbikes, 1 week's GP. I want my schedule in. Yes. So I know what I'm doing Monday mornings.
Yeah, Monday mornings. Or 10 o'clock's not too late for a MotoGP when they go over to Europe.
But I usually watch it Monday morning still.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we got ASBK to hold us over, thank fuck.
Yeah.
But we've still got some things to talk about in MotoGP. So, interestingly, they are pretty much guaranteed, or, it's positive now, that they're going to be increasing the races by adding Finland and Indonesia to the circuit. So to compensate for this growth, they're going to take out one of the Spanish rounds and probably alternate one of the tracks throughout the years.
Oh, yeah, so the Spanish round will change each year then?
Yeah, so just be at a different circuit.
Yep.
One of them will be.
That's a big call because the Spanish are mad for it, for spectators.
They got a bullshit amount of tracks though at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a tiny country.
Yeah.
Not like they got to travel far like us. Like go down to Phillip Island to watch it. Brisbane to Phillip Island is like going to fucking another 3 countries away.
It's like
there.
London to Jerez.
Yeah, it's massive. So the Indonesian circuit is going to be done 2021. And there is some conjecture about the Finland circuit. They were supposed to be testing there this year in August, but they pretty much said, hey, we're not going to be ready. So they moved that Mazzano and MotoGP. I think they're pretty pissed about that, actually. Because they're like, hey, if you're going to race in 2020, we need to fucking test there, and you need to be FIM certified. We'll see how that goes. Another thing, we were paying out the Indonesian street circuit the other week. But I've looked at some of like the plans and ideas of how it's going to be. It actually looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, didn't you say there's a resort and you can like... It'd be like Surfers Paradise for when the IndyCar's there and you can sit in your hotel room balcony and watch the racing.
Exactly like that. So at the corners, they're having hotels now with the runoff and that, obviously. It's not just going to be like you crash and die into a wall. It's going to be a bit of a gravel runoff. What the fuck they're going to do. But you can just pretty much stay in your hotel and watch, you know, a few corners from that part of your hotel.
Yeah, that'd be mint.
That would be fucking awesome. I would definitely go. It's like, what's Indonesia? It's not far from here. What, it's like $400 ticket or something?
It's probably cheaper to fly to Indonesia than Phillip Island.
It would be, yeah. Cheaper than fuel costs of riding down too. So I'm definitely going to look into going. It would be pretty mad weekend to just be in your hotel and looking at the circuit and then, you know, get a pit pass or something. It'd be awesome. Yep. So I'm actually looking forward. I've gone from like being very skeptical. Indonesians' road quality is not known to be great. And they're mad. Or on their scooters. Like, people been to Bali. It's just Bali.
Yeah.
It's the exact same, just scooters everywhere. So I'm actually pretty pumped. See how it goes. And the government is adamant they're going to be ready for 2021. It's like, they're like, no, it will be done.
I guess they've seen the tourism that like Malaysia brings in with Sepang or Thailand's bringing in, so they want...
Oh, huge.
They went in on it.
You bring in, like, Indonesia, they'll have, like, 150,000 throughout the weekend. Half of them are going to be guys like us flying in.
Yep.
So, huge money. Definitely worth doing for them. I'm pumped for it.
So, this is a bit of a new one for us, but we're going to talk about some BSB. So, we... being in Australia, other side of the world, we haven't really followed a lot of it previously. I watched the final round when I was in the UK last year, and it was the wettest race I've ever seen, where half the Superbike field crashed.
It would be just shit there, wouldn't it? Imagine doing track days there. You just, you would take wets.
Oh, definitely. But we just had the first testing of the season, and there's some good talent in the BSB this year with Redding dropping down, no matter what you think of his. We got Jordi Torres, not Jordi Torres.
Javier Forres.
Yeah.
Forres pretty much the exact same name, but with an F.
Yeah. He doesn't wear his flashy sunglasses.
No. Or beanies.
Yeah. But we had an Australian, Jason O'Halloran, on the Yamaha fastest in the test.
I was surprised. I just presumed Redding was fastest.
He was fastest on day one, and then Halloran was a lot faster on day two than Redding was and beat Redding's day one time.
It'd be awesome for an Aussie to win again. Josh Brooks won in 2015.
Yeah, on the first year of the new R1. So speaking of Josh Brooks, he was 5th overall for the test times.
It's a good result. He's always up there. He's, you know, we had a look before. He's got like a couple of seconds over there, overalls and 3rd, and I think last year got 4th. So, and he's getting old. He's 35. Well, old in racing terms.
Yeah.
It's pretty old.
And then we got another Aussie, Ben Curry, was in 26th, which is sort of back of the pack, but it still sent him some support.
Yeah, look, he's giving his all over there. He's doing it. We're sitting here talking shit about riding. He's actually fucking riding, so he's got that on us, I can tell you that for sure.
But it's going to be it's a big season to follow. They don't start till end of April, which is very late. Then they have a lot of rounds very close together.
It's 12 rounds, I think. It's insane.
They do a lot of UK tracks multiple times or different layouts at the same track, plus a lot of the test was at Portimao, which is also a World Superbike track.
Mm.
So there were a lot of European stuff. It'd be great. We see following Redding on Instagram. He's putting in the hard work. He's in his van with his bike, driving from track days.
Yeah, he's a funny bastard.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about him, look at his Instagram now. He's a bit of a laugh.
Looks like he's taking it seriously though. Like he's more seriously than he has GP last year.
Yeah, he pretty much gave up last year.
His predator haircuts in Thailand and
yeah. After he blew up about Aprilia, that's right. He's like, but that team fucking shit. They're not doing all this stuff. And they're like, oh, there goes your chance of a ride next year, buddy.
But no, he looks like he's putting hard work. He's sort of. I saw you put a post up saying like, it's reinvigorated his love of racing, just having like him and his mechanic in a van with the bike driving to the track.
Yeah. He's gone back to his roots pretty much.
Yeah, so it should be great to watch.
And for me, Redding, he's always been like a bit. It's like mentally, he's got the talent. He's obviously got the talent. He's a bigger dude, so harder to suit bikes to him and stuff. But he's always had the talent, just not quite gotten there a lot of the time.
Yeah, I saw, it was a while ago, but I saw an interview with him that basically he thinks like this. It could just be whinging or whatever, but he got like bad advice early in his career on like how to train and how to get better. But it was just like push harder, go faster, like work harder.
Yes.
Not work smarter and
I think because I think I read the same article. He basically said like I was beating Marquez or like on the same level.
In Moto2 they had awesome battles.
Yep, and like Pol Espargaro and stuff, and then he kind of went a different direction. Marquez went a different direction as well, and well, enough said there. Marquez is a freak and won a few championships now. So I hope he goes well. BSB is always good to watch. It's so competitive.
Oh, the bikes are monsters too. Like they're almost faster than World Superbikes.
Yeah, they're insane.
They're allowed more modifications. Like the rules are more relaxed. It's like the money in those bikes is mental. Like ASBK is kept as like nearly stock to keep the teams competitive, but BSB is the opposite. It's like you go as hard as you want, boys.
Yeah. And their tracks are just fucking nuts. They got like jumps and stuff.
Or they go from GP tracks to like basically what would be a go-kart track anywhere else in the world with a jump up a hill through a turn
while they're riding and pissing down rain usually.
Yeah, the last round last year was like I've never seen a race in wetter weather, and
it would have been
12 or 13
red
bikes
flags
crashed.
Here. They're like, guys, just don't worry about this weekend. Yeah, it's a bit wet.
Yeah, and Haslam he had like gold fairings on for the weekend because he already won the championship.
What?
I'm like, he's gonna crash him for sure.
Oh shit! So another thing is, it's a bit of a stepping stone to World Superbikes BSB. It's probably the next best thing after a couple of Spanish and European Superstock championships. It is like a big stepping stone to going up.
Yeah,
and
for
being
sure.
noticed.
It's nearly as like even though it's British Superbike, it's nearly like a world.
World
Championship.
Pretty big field. They ride in a couple of European circuits as well. Forres got kicked out as WSBK. Well, not kicked out, replaced.
Oh, I think he got kicked out. Ducati said, we want Ruben Rinaldi to have a bike, so
yeah.
You go on, mate.
Is Rinaldi by any chance Italian? A name like Rinaldi's got to be
I don't know if he's Italian or Spanish, but he's come up through the like Aruba IT junior team.
Yeah.
And then he raced last year. He raced the European rounds for them.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he was on the Aruba IT, he was still classed as an independent rider last year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they wanted to keep him in the
So he's getting groomed.
Yeah, and he was teammates with Mike Jones a couple of years ago when Mike Jones was on the Superstock for Aruba IT.
Yep.
And they've ditched Jones and kept him on.
Ooh.
So it must be something. I like his pumpkin helmet. It's like a jack-o'-lantern.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm definitely gonna have to look this up. Hey, I hate him already because he replaced Mike Jones. I hope he fails. Doesn't do any good in World Superbikes. I don't actually mean that.
And Forres, I liked Forres. He was last year. He was flying up the front in the independent bike. So
yeah, Forres, not Torres. We've been over this before already. He's a good rider. I'd be very surprised if he's not up there for the championship. Is Shaky Burns riding? Or is he retired?
I don't know.
He's an old man. He shouldn't be riding anymore. He's won enough. He's won like 7 times or something.
Yeah, probably
Ridiculous.
not really then.
Yeah, he's in his mid-40s. But annoying thing is, it doesn't start till the end of April.
But then it's nearly every week.
Yes. So in these ridiculous rounds where they don't ride for 3 weeks in MotoGP and WSBK's not on, we can watch BSB at least and ASBK. Well, speaking of ASBK, we better talk about it. It's on this weekend.
Yeah, Wakefield Park for round 2. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I guess we're a bit more specific. So Wakefield Park is Herfoss's home track, and he's never lost a round. Like he's lost races. He hasn't won every race. So they do a couple over the weekend, but he's won every round they've ever done.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a super short circuit, 57-second lap record.
So it most likely suits the agility and lack of power of the Honda as well.
Yeah, like the big power bikes would be a handful, to say the least, to get around there.
So our local boy Mike Jones is on the Ducati this week, replacing Troy Bayliss because he's got a fucked hand, among other things.
2 fucked hands.
Yeah, 2 fucked hands. He's still got a bit of steel coming out at last.
Yeah.
So be interested to see how he handles the Ducati on that tight, twisty circuit. Big twin should help, grunting out of corners. And he's pretty familiar with it as he rode the Panigale overseas, is what we're saying. Yeah,
he did season ASBK on it, and then he's done a season Superstock World Championship on it. Like I said, the Wakefield test, he was unofficially the fastest.
Yep.
So I saw someone put on Facebook, I think it was my mate Crashley, something about like, oh, I wonder if he can win the championship riding a different bike every round.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Would that have ever been done before?
Oh, I doubt it.
We're going to look this up. Definitely going to have to look this up and see it's been done before, because that would be cool.
We'd find him a Yamaha and a Honda and a Gixxer.
Yeah. Just each round, hey, can I just fill in for this round? Yeah, just give me one. There is one Aprilia riding, I saw.
Yeah. An MV Augusta.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Yeah. It's a few rounds, mate. You gotta...
Yeah, that's straight. You know, and he's good enough. He's just as long as he places top 5.
Yeah.
Keeps it consistent.
Well, 3rd overall at round 1, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be up there. I'd be surprised if he's in top 3. But the field's stupidly strong this year, so it's going to be hard for him.
Yeah, we got Wagner coming in.
Yes, the mustache boy.
Super strong performance in round 1. He'll be eager to keep going with that.
It's probably, as I said last week, it's like the strongest field basically ever.
Yeah, and the bikes are super close as well.
May
not be the case when the V4R comes in.
Yeah, I still think they're still waiting for parts, aren't they? Yeah,
so the World Championship is still getting priority on parts development, so they haven't, because the Australian Championship is, the rules are so tight, much tighter than than BSB or World Superbikes.
Yeah,
the parts just aren't being developed yet. So, and I think they've only got one bike as well, but they'll have 1299 for a spare.
Final edition. Troy keeps totaling, but he's not totaling this week, thankfully.
Maybe when Troy jumps on the V4, they should give Mike a go on 1299 to finish the season.
It'd be worth doing.
Yeah,
because he did say that. They're like, why are you not riding it? He said what he said down to parts, but also it's not. He's more comfortable on the final edition still.
Yeah, he doesn't want to ride it. Doesn't want to race on it until it's faster.
Which is fair enough. You're there to win.
Yeah, but they're still testing. Even though he's not racing this weekend, I think he was at Morgan Park this week testing.
So we'll see how they go.
So
in the 600s, pretty much going to be a case of can anyone catch Tom Taparis?
Yeah, I think we'll see Ollie Bayliss still getting faster. He's coming to groups with that R6, and then Brock Pearson is sort of with Ollie. They're going to really be pushing each other along.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Tom, this gives him a bit of a stepping stone to get onto some more racing. I know he's racing. He's
racing in Europe as well this year. So he's doing like double duties, flying back and forth.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that will affect his campaign at either end, but I'm sure he's still going to blitz everyone.
Yeah, he's one of the most talented riders we've had in a long time. It'd be good to see him do well.
Yeah, and then on the best bike.
Well, we're going to talk about the awkward interview you heard in another podcast.
Yeah, so I was listening to, call him a competitor, I guess, and he must be pretty in the industry and knows a lot of the guys, and he had an interview after round 1 with Wagner and Maxwell on the phone at the same time, with Crew in the studio with him.
That would have been cold.
So Crew didn't want to say anything about it. Maxwell was...
Yeah, I know nothing, I don't want to say anything.
Maxwell was pissed. He was like... He didn't say it, but he wasn't happy. He's like, stupid move, like, big consequences. He's got to go home for his family. He remembers being young like Wagner.
Oh, God.
All this sort of stuff.
Rubbin's racing.
Yeah, he was also quite upset about everyone on Facebook throwing chat about.
Yes.
So apparently people were
Amateur
saying,
racer banter.
yeah, people were already saying like, oh, you were already crashing, that he already lost the front. And he's like, oh, the front was moving, but he said he had it.
That's a bit far. He wasn't crashing.
He was railing it. He said it's the first time he can remember being passed in that section of the track, because he's usually like way faster through that sector.
I will agree with that. You don't see passes there very often.
He said, it's far. It's a fast section. People don't do it because of high consequence.
Yep.
And 2, he is really fast there.
Mm.
So Wagner was just at it. He just wanted to win.
He's a bit of an animal.
Yeah. And then Wagner came on after Maxwell was done and was just like, oh, my bike was in front.
Yeah. Just a fuck you.
Yeah. So.
You're wrong.
But they seemed to, they said they had a chat and apologised, and racing's racing. It was deemed a racing incident, not like, it didn't T-bone him. He was up the inside where there was room.
I think it was fun. Watching it, I thought it was hard.
They were both racing hard for the rest of the race as well. Yeah.
Maxwell was going just as hard at just as fast places of the circuit too.
Yeah, I agree. Into turn 1, so which is
probably the fastest place on the whole circuit.
Yeah.
So this week, Lance, we're going to do a knee slider giveaway on the back wheel knee sliders. I don't know if everyone knows it is another page I run and a bit of a YouTube channel, and I sell knee sliders.
And they're great. I've been using them for the last year and a bit. We sold a whole heap of them around the country. Seem to get great reviews with people.
Yeah, everyone seems to really like them. We've got a fair few people in the ASBK circle use them. Rider I sponsor, Connor Sanderson.
Yeah, Connor Sanderson on 300.
He uses them and really likes them down in Adelaide kind of area. So, but yeah, we're going to do a giveaway on Facebook and Instagram.
So if you want to get yourself in the running, either or both, jump onto Facebook, like our page, and share the post. We will select someone randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, 26th of March.
Yep. Give
them away. We'll post them to you. Choose what colour you want, because he's got quite a range now. And then likewise, Instagram, like our page, share the photo and tag the amateur racer, and we will choose someone from there as well.
And if you're worried about, not getting your knee down, I can pre-scuff them if you want.
Yeah, I can send you a U set if you like.
So you look like you can get your knee down. Or if you're in Queensland, I can give you, scuff up a left one, I'll just scrape it on the road for you out front in my...
On the way to work.
On the way to work, or just out in the driveway, because we only have right-hand turns.
Yeah. Oh, Morgan Park's okay.
Oh, it's got 3. How many has it got?
You got turn 3, turn 5, turn 7, turn 8.
Holy shit,
and
I
turn
am totally
12.
wrong. Sorry. So Lakeside has fuck all. Hungary?
You got Hungary and then bus stop, which doesn't really count. The kink is as well, but you don't really need out on the kink, even if you're flat stick.
Even pro guys would be struggling to get knee down now, I reckon.
Yeah. And QR is you go to QR for a day, you forget to turn left. You forget how to turn left after half a session. I
find the left-hand part there, in the paperclip, as they call it, that bit there, I find that so fucking difficult.
I think it's just because you're like, right, left,
and
right, left.
And to me, every time...
The braking mark, there's also no real braking marker.
It's got that weird bit on the side, where it's like different bitumen, where people go really wide on the right and then cut in. But then it seems to me every time the place I want to ride has dirt on it.
Yeah, the drifters pull dirt everywhere.
Yeah, there's fucking dirt always on that left. So you're going, one, we don't know how to turn left.
I'm getting better.
Well, it's happening. But it's this weird turn with a strange bit on the side, and then you're going to tip in, there's dirt, so you're worried about that. I've run up there a couple of times. But
it's also really fast braking into a pretty slow corner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, would you call it a double apex?
Yeah, well, it's 2 turns, but you treat them as 1 turn.
Yeah, the fastest way to do it is to treat it as 1 turn. Anyway, I fucking hate that turn.
That's why we laugh. We've only been to QR once together, and Curtis crashed.
Yes, definitely crashed. Not a good weekend for me. It was brake fade. That's what I'm going with. Could have been poor maintenance. It's an old bike, alright? It's a weapon. It still throws down.
Yeah, still quicker than me.
It gets going. But yeah, put in for this giveaway. Throw you a couple of sets of knee sliders.
Why not? Free stuff.
Free stuff. Yes. Free stuff is always awesome. Alright guys, that's it for this podcast. So we'll be back next week to round up the ASBK and give our predictions for the MotoGP.
Yep, make sure you jump on that giveaway, like and subscribe on however you access this, and catch us next time.
All right, guys. See you later.